Got must act as fall in prices hurts farmers. www.cnh.com Got must act as fall in prices hurts farmers. The fall in both wholesale and consumer price indices in June is good news for the consumer and those who track inflation, but it should ring alarm bells at the Prime Minister's office. Agriculture is crying out loud for a fair policy for farmers and the sector. This low inflation is also at the cost of the farmer. While the general fall in prices is bad for the economy as it reflects lack of demand for manufactured goods and services, it is worse for the farmer, especially since rural India is already in distress. Much of the fall in inflation is at the cost of farmers since food prices deflated by 2.1% in June preceded by a 1% deflation in May. In actual terms, this means farmers will get less for their produce and the government should take steps to mitigate this if it wants to avoid the consistent gruesome suicides by farmers. The farmer is always at a disadvantage because when he produces a bumper crop as it happened this year, there is a fall in prices because of a glut, and when there is a bad year he suffers as the government resorts to imports to depress prices that rise due to shortages. There is no local farmers' lobby to plead the case for import duty on imported pulses and edible oils, for those who grow these crops, so their chances of a fair price are zero. The strong lobby of sugar farmers survive as they are able to get the government to increase the duty on imported sugar from 40% to 50% in order to keep prices at a reasonable level. The prices of pulses today is a clear example of this stepmotherly treatment to the farmer. From Rs 200 per kilograms earlier for pulses, farmers are now getting between Rs 60 to 65 per kilograms. There is a similar fall in channa, urad, moong and other pulses and vegetables. The center's silence is alarming, especially since the government expects the farmers' income to double by 2022. How is this possible under the present circumstances? The Prime Minister would do well to tackle this issue in his next Mann Ki Baat if not earlier. More important, the government should come out with a white paper stating what the income of the farmer is at present so that the doubling figure has an anchor. The government needs to understand its present policy is only increasing the economic gap between urban and rural India. It is hoped that the government shakes off its pro-urban, pro-industry policy so that rural India can survive. The fall in inflation has seen a demand for a cut in interest rates by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India by the business and banking lobby. This seems misplaced considering that interest rates form a mere 3% of the cost of production. There needs to be introspection on the more alarming issue of why private investment is not forthcoming and why banks are diffident to lend. Comments. Visit website. News Brave Fight to the End. www.fight to the end. www.cnh.com Liu's brave fight to the end. The circumstances in which Nobel Peace Prize winner Liu Xiaobo died is an indictment of a state leaning towards totalitarianism. The muzzling of dissent may have been perfected long ago as an art form in the People's Republic of China, but the least it could have done in the case of its internationally known rights activist was to allow him to travel abroad for treatment when it became known he was battling for his life with liver cancer. An empty chair at his Nobel Award ceremony spoke more than what words would have conveyed for the battle of ideologies. In his death, news of which has been blacked out in China, Liu stands as an even greater symbol of the eternal fight for man's freedom from the clutches of powerful governments with well-filled nuclear arsenals and yet which are afraid of the very idea of democracy and the freedom of the people. Liu repeated a powerful message to humanity in saying, "We have no enemies," before he breathed his last. For a peaceful prophet of change, who also negotiated the safe exit of demonstrating students in Tiananmen Square in 1989 as tanks rolled in, his fate was to live his years in chains as it were, with a guard standing at his door even as life was ebbing out of him. It is his spirit that will live on. Although world leaders seem to have been overpowered by China into a submissive state right through to the day that the writer, social thought leader and creator of a manifesto on constitutional reform was terminally ill and passed on, the futility of it all, as nothing has changed in all of Liu's years of fighting for reform in the Communist Party dominated regime, is what the free world will have to live with. It was a brave fight that Liu fought. Comments, visit website.